Riding a motorbike has been such a fun, liberating, and definitely the biggest learning curve I've ever had of my whole adult life. I started riding a motorbike just over a year ago, and it's probably one of the best things that I've ever done. So today we're going on a motorbike ride, and let's just have a little bit of a chit chat while we ride, and I'll tell you 5 of the things that no one tells you about riding a motorbike. When you first start in a quiet street. On my very first day when I got my motorbike, I was super excited. I had all of the gear and got out onto a main road in peak hour traffic on my very first motorbike ride, and ended up in an industrial area, which I thought was going to be pretty quiet, but it just so happened it was at the end of the day when everyone was going home. So the streets were really busy, and even at one point I was at an intersection and stopped. The intersection was on a slight hill, and I dropped my bike within a half an hour of me getting on it. So it was pretty daunting. I think what I would do differently is just choose a really quiet street or a really quiet time of day, and something that's straight. You really don't have to do any turns, and just practice going from first to second to third and back down again, and that'd be it. The next thing is to remember to turn your indicators off. It seems like such a simple thing, but when you're in a car, you've got indicators that automatically can sense when you've gone around a corner and turn off themselves. On a motorbike, you have to manually turn your indicators off. And if you're not in the habit of that, then you can quite often find yourself leaving your indicators on for, even up to kilometers down the road. It is actually quite dangerous when you leave your indicators on, because you're signaling to other drivers around you that you're going to make a move, and they're potentially judging their driving around what your indicators are telling them. Get out in the rain. It's uncomfortable, it's wet, it can be cold, but you're going to get stuck in the rain at some point or another, so you may as well go when you're still learning and still figuring everything out anyway. In hindsight, I was fortunate enough to get a really big experience in the beginning, which was we rode down to Wollongong to see our friends perform in a circus, and by the end of the performance, it was a couple of hours later, there was a massive storm that had rolled in, and just as we were walking out to our bikes, it started pouring down with rain, and we were wet within a minute. It was a really heavy storm. So we had about a 3-hour ride home, and we just decided to go for it. And we had both, big paddles in both boots. But what it taught both Ryan and I was that you just have to ride slow, you have to be careful, make sure that you've got lots of distance in front of the cars in front of you, and just be extra cautious pretty much. Give everything double the amount of time that it would if you're on dry road. Another little tip aside from that is that if it's just started raining and it hasn't rained in a while, you've got all of the sediment on the road and like a layer of petrol or oil or whatever it is, and that makes the roads extra slippery. So if it's just started raining, especially when you're cornering, just be extra careful. I felt so silly when I realized this next one, but on a motorbike there's no reverse. There's no gear that you put your motorbike in and it automatically reverses for you. You have to do it with your feet. I'm a pretty short person, so I don't have a full foot on the ground on either side. When I put my feet down, my toes touch. I don't have a full foot on the ground. So if I and reversing, especially on like an upwards hill, it can be really difficult. Again, when I first got my motorbike, I was parking at Bunnings and I parked nose down in this ditch, so the back of my bike is higher than the front. And when I went to get out, I was trying to push myself out. There was some gravelly rocks underneath me as well, and when I was trying to get out, it was really difficult, and I ended up having to get Ryan to help pull me out because I just couldn't push it out. So if you do find that you're in that situation and that's the only spot available and it is on a bit of a slant, try and park the back of your bike at the lowest point, so your bike in first at the lowest point, so the nose of your bike is higher than the back, and then you can just turn your bike on and your bike doesn't work and you drive away. And the last thing is master going really slow. So when you have control over your bike when you're going slow, and what I mean by control is you're not wobbling, you know where your clutch is, you're able to go at a really even pace at 5 kilometers or under without wobbling and driving all over the place. You can go in a completely straight line, your handlebars are steady. When you can master going really slow like that and going from first to second back down to first, almost as if you're in peak hour traffic and you're able to stay in a really straight line, that makes you a better rider when you go fast. So it's almost like slowing down, getting the basics really good, and then you can go fast. As well, when you're off your P plates, it will help when you start being able to lane split and things like that. You've got more control when you have to go slow and you're in between cars on either side. So those are the 5 tips that no one tells you when you start riding your motorbike. Today we have gone for a ride up to Pie in the Sky. They're usually a really good location to ride to, lots of motorbike spots and really pretty view as well. Alright guys, have a great week and we will see you in the next video.